org, and head on over to supertalktv.com because you will see I'm not in my home base today. In fact, I've kicked Richard out of the Oxford studio. That's not entirely true. He's on vacation, but I am filling in his chair for him today in Oxford. My husband and I are here for the big game, so I thought it would be fun to bring you good things out of Oxford studio and see what everyone is up to here. So joining me today is Miss Kinny and Nadia with Visit Oxford, and when you ask them what's going on in the town of Oxford, they will say everything. And it feels like everything. I started looking at your list that you were preparing today, and good Lord, ladies, this is a busy town.
It is. It's so busy, and this is really prime time. Nadia and I both ventured out of the office today for lunch, and we said, here we are. You know, it's kind of like a we're not in Kansas anymore moment, and we are all hands on deck here in Oxford, ready to welcome all of our visitors and show off this town in such a pretty time of year.
You think about the impact that sports have. I mean, obviously we're in baseball season, but for you guys with Visit Oxford, it's not just baseball that you're interested in. It's not just football. I mean, you guys get the town or get geared up for all of the different events that sort of come through. So when you do have, I guess, a team, I think they're ranked number one. Listen to me trying to be Richard in his seat today against ranked number 5. The only reason why I know that's because we're going to the game. Does that elevate the excitement in the city or the amount of people coming in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We love all of our athletic sports here, and it's funny. I know the big game this weekend is obviously the SEC opener for our number 1 ranked baseball team. You were right about that, and we are so thrilled. But in the visitor center, we've had track visitors from Missouri, and we've had softball visitors also from Missouri. So there's so many things going on. In addition to the big baseball game. So it's just crazy. Like I said, all hands on
deck. Which
is
funny because most people that have their minds just set on the event that they're here for, right? Like you're like, oh, you hear the buzz about the other stuff. But for Visit Oxford, you've got to have your hands in all the events that are sort of going on. But for good reason, because tourism impacts this city like nothing else. So, Kenny, when we think about what in terms of visiting Oxford does or coming to Oxford, what is the tourism impact?
Sure. A lot of people always ask us, how many visitors come to Oxford in a year? And, if you think about that, there's really no place that you tally in or buy a ticket when you come into the town. So we can't tell people exactly how many visitors, but what we can track is how much visitors spend. Oh. And so that's really how we know what our impact is on travel here to the small town of Oxford. And so we know, based on our research and tax collections, that visitors here to the Oxford community spent $172.6 million.
Million?
Yes. In our tiny town of about 28,000 residents and then 20,000 students, that is a huge impact for us here, and it really kind of brings so many taxes in. So out of that $172.6 million spent, local taxes that are attributed just to tourism is $16.2 million. So that's just, big numbers, things we wouldn't have if it weren't for tourists.
And so those are just the numbers when we talk about here on Good Things about visiting Mississippi. I mean, we push really big all the great things to do within our own state. When you're thinking about spring break, when you're thinking about certain schools that are coming in for these these games or weekends, even if you don't have kids that go there or just coming to visit, your dollars are going back local. I mean, when you visit Mississippi, it's still like supporting a local business when you choose that out of going to, another state. And not that you should never take your family across the border, but you should think about more opportunities to visit what's going on here, because a lot of the numbers, I mean, those are people from other states, right, Kenny, that are coming to Mississippi or to Oxford from their home state.
Oh yes, so that's definitely true. So it's visitors from right now we're not really getting many international visitors, but it's definitely visitors from other states, but then also in-state travel as well. So that all kind of counts, and we welcome everybody.
Well, they welcome you this weekend. Obviously, Oxford will, but you're not going to get a ticket because I hear the game's sold out, which is a good thing. Wow. It's definitely a good thing. So, Nadia, if maybe you're not into baseball, you didn't get your tickets. I know there's plenty of more going on in Oxford, and it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend after the weather we had on Monday. We're welcoming some sunshine, even if it's a little chillier.
Yeah.
So what's on the slate for Oxford?
Yeah, so I mean, just this weekend, Kenny mentioned all of the sports with the track meet and softball, and I believe there's something at our youth sports league as well. But also we have the Oxford Film Festival happening this weekend. So a lot of people in town for that. They're excited to bring it back for the first time in person since 2019. And then there's things just kind of going around town. There's also tennis. We've had stuff at the Ford Center. So just pretty much anything you can think of is happening this weekend in Oxford, and really for the next few weekends. The spring is just jam-packed.
Which spring means usually softball, baseball kind of tournaments going on. I know coming into Oxford from Central Mississippi, I saw that they're still doing the work on the sports complex, or a sports complex. One of the roads we sort of came up. What kind of impact is that going to have when it's completely finished? I know you don't know numbers yet, but do y'all have an idea?
I mean, the one we have here locally is great, and it's packed through October. I can't remember exactly how many tournaments they have, but every weekend, whether it's soccer, baseball, softball, they fill it to the max, and it's an amazing impact. We really saw that impact during the first few months of COVID, when nothing else could really happen, and those outdoor sports were still happening, and they really kept our restaurants and hotels and local businesses going during that tough time. So that was kind of a silver lining, is just realizing the impact that those travel teams have.
And how crazy parents are. They will travel during a pandemic.
Absolutely.
For their kid to play.
And we're thankful for them.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. But, Kenny, when you think about being the director for Visit Oxford, and you weather the storm of something like a pandemic. I mean, you just mentioned these great numbers, $100+ million that was, brought in. Could you imagine when the world did reopen that the world would come back in such a strong way? Because it feels like, not that you can ever really make up for those years, because that's lost revenue. I mean, restaurants didn't see their doors reopen. Businesses, don't want to hear that now, that had to make tough choices. But from a macro standpoint, it feels like maybe we're getting a surge of some of that back.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, the pandemic, I think we've all got PTSD, and for whatever reason or realm that you played in that. But yeah, we are seeing, so, I said that 16.2 million to taxes attributed. That's back to our 19 and 18 numbers. So, 2020 is kind of a wash. It was down to 13.6. So, I mean, a $3 million loss, which is huge. But, we weathered the storm so much better here than a lot of our neighboring towns. And like Nadia said, a big part of that was our city did allow the youth sports to stay open. Some people couldn't facilitate that based on their facilities. We were able to. But yeah, we never imagined that we would be back here. And, we're already tracking for 2020 to just be, record breaking. So we are excited.
Look, we're looking at all kind of record breaking things. That's a good, when you're thinking about the good things and the positive records to break. I mean, we all think it's the breath of fresh air. We all like to hear those kind of statistics coming in anywhere from, Mississippi, because when Oxford's doing well, the rest of the state does well. When the coast does well, and so it's when we're all sort of seeing that influx of positivity. And I will have to say, I mean, not to get, I don't know necessarily specifics, but it feels like even during the pandemic, and Nadia, you may realize this when you're connecting or conversating with people who are looking to host their events in certain places, our more, approach to COVID restrictions, or more open to having conversations on how to keep safe without, buckling way down, really opened Mississippi up to have more events and have more people feel comfortable. And people sought out Mississippi for their venues because of that, right?
Absolutely. And, we're also very thankful. The state legislators allocated money for tourism recovery funds, so we were able to actually market Mississippi, specifically Oxford, but the entire state, way before some of the other states were able to jump on board. So we never stopped marketing it. We certainly pivoted and changed the messaging a little bit, just so everyone could be aware of restrictions or how to be safe, but we still wanted them to come. And because we do have so many facilities that are outdoors and just ways to still congregate, but a safe way, we were able to host events and host meetings that other places weren't. So we were very thankful.
Well, Good Things is going to continue to come live from Oxford today. You can text in your favorite local eats here. My husband and I will be looking for places to grab some food coming up next, but stick with us. We got more for you from Oxford. Out more, and Good Things is visiting Oxford today. We are live coming from the Oxford studio today because my husband and I are in for the big game from Tennessee and Ole Miss. They'll be kicking off. I think that doesn't kick off, I guess, throwing the first pitch or however you say it, right? Like later on this afternoon. And so we thought it would be fun to catch up with some of our favorites around town, specifically figuring out what all is going on around town. And if you haven't figured it out yet, Oxford is a busy place with something for everybody. And so it's not just about the sports. Kenny, who is with us, as well as Nadia from Visit Oxford. There's also festivals. There's also concerts. There's also, I was trying to keep up graduation. There's also all of these things sort of going on. So where do we start next, Kenny?
Oh, you're exactly right. There's something for everybody, honestly, here in Oxford. So if you're not a sports fan and you just want to come for our storied history or literature, you can definitely come and do that as a tourist. Or, coming up in the next few months, not only do we have wonderful weather this time of the year and beautiful blooming flowers to look at, but you could come for, softball, track, youth sports, the film festivals this weekend. In a couple of weeks of April the 9th, we're really looking forward to a new event or festival called Mississippi Day.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
That is going to be on the university campus. And I think the best way to describe it is an open house for the different departments on campus. So there's about 70 departments that will be all around the Lyceum Circle, just right there at the heart of the campus, and they will be kind of doing a little show and tell, if you will, to explain kind of what their department's all about. And so they're inviting local citizens as well as people from all over the neighboring states and region, as well as alumni, to kind of come back and have a little bit of a homecoming and learn about maybe some new departments or see the department that they were a part of when they were here in school, and teach their children about what engineering is and just all the different offerings that the university has. We'll have a table there for visitor information and what else you can do in town, but there's something like that almost every weekend in the spring. So
it's like if you just need a quick getaway or staycation or vacation or a quick drive, you can always come up. Just, it's good just to try burgers in different places, steaks in different places, and just see what's, happening sort of in town. But Kenny, you mentioned, I think it's like half your population are right out of students as well as residents. So when you have things like graduation, Nadia, or you have the coming in August, I mean, we don't think about that as terms of tourism, but mom and daddy are coming to bring them, or
Absolutely.
You've got the rest of the family who's coming in to sort of see that thing. So from a graduation standpoint, how excited does Visit Oxford get about those events?
Yeah, and it's certainly changed over the years. It first started with orientation, so all incoming freshmen have to attend orientation, and the university has really now spread it out over the entire month of June, even into May and July. So it's a much more enjoyable experience for all those people coming in. They can actually kind of move around and breathe a little bit, but that's amazing impact for our restaurants and hotels. So not everyone is crammed full, just 1 or 2 weekends of the month. It's spread out through the entire month. Same thing for like move-in. It used to be 1 weekend in August, and you can imagine everyone coming in for that 1 weekend. So now it's really about 10 days. It just kind of spreads it out again. And another kind of silver lining of COVID was they started doing that for graduation. We have always heard feedback, if someone has 2 children or, a boyfriend, they can't go to their boyfriend's graduation because their graduation ceremony is the same time. They've started spreading that out, really starting on Thursday all the way through Sunday instead of just on Saturday. And
you have more people more likely to come when there's more rooms available, more.
Absolutely.
It takes a load too, I guess, off your restaurants and other places as well. They can feed them all over a few days instead of one dinner after graduation.
Yeah, no one's happy when you're all trying to get into one place at the same time on the same day. So it really is a more enjoyable experience for everyone, whether you're working at the restaurant or you're a parent coming in for the graduation. So we're very grateful that the university has evolved to spreading it out and making it a better experience for everyone. So that just means, there's more weekends for people to come to Oxford and experience it. So we're excited about that.
And excited too. I'm still hearing all the track, all the softball, all the baseball, all the things, right? And so when you have those families coming in, they all have to eat. I mean, that's one thing. So is there a quick, easy way on the website, Kenny, or somewhere else where a family's like, you know what, we're going to take our, travel up a notch. We're not just going to go to this tournament and survive on PB&J. Sure. We want to, taste something that's around town. That's kid friendly. I have to add that part. So, I mean, is there a way to go and kind of figure out where you want to dine?
Absolutely. So you can go to visit oxfordms.com and you can just search for what to eat, and you can divide it by kind of the areas of town. So if you're going to be downtown, you can say by the square. If you're going to be out on the Jackson Avenue area, you can kind of pivot to that and toggle. And so it'll tell you everything that's right around. And there's even kind of like a pricing gauge on there so that you know kind of what you're looking at before you get there. Of course, now anybody can pretty much find a menu online, but that is a really easy way. And then we feature a lot of restaurants on our social media. So, I always encourage people, if you are coming into town, to follow us, and you can find all of the different channels or social media platforms under Visit Oxford MS. So
I feel like all of our towns in Mississippi have those signature events, though. Even if you've never been, when you hear it, you go, that's where that's at, right? Like yesterday on Good Things, we talked about the World Catfish Festival. You automatically go Belzoni. And if you didn't know Belzoni, you go Delta,
that's right?
So when you hear double decker, you go Oxford. It's like, I don't know when it is. I think it's in the spring. But when you hear someone talking about getting excited and you're like, is it, are they taking a drive around town, or is it, like one of those buses that's a double decker that you see it, that you see that you're visiting or touring towns? I don't know. That could be part of it. But most people know double decker in some capacity is connected to Oxford, and that's one of y'all's signature events, right?
It is. So this year we're celebrating the 25th anniversary, and technically, if we would have been able to have it the last 2 years, would be the 27th. So we lost a couple of years there, but a pretty solid history there for this festival, and it's an arts festival. So we've got about 150 artists coming in from all over the region to set up all over our downtown square on Saturday, and then we have really great music on Friday night and Saturday. So, and it's all free. A lot of people call and ask where they can get the concert tickets, and it is free of charge. So, and a great place to kind of sample some of that.
Is there a double-decker bus? Where does the double-decker come in?
So it is named for our double-decker bus. The city owns some double-decker buses, and we do tours on those. They're kind of sick right now, so we're doing some renovations that we're really excited about. But we are kind of teaser alert, hoping to have one running at least some that weekend, but we're going to take it easy on them, kind of like a recovery. So it might be around more Friday than Saturday running.
It's okay.
And then we are sure to have one for a great photo.
I feel like that's the cherry on the top. People aren't coming to Oxford to the double decker just for the riding of the buses. No. So we can be kind to the buses and let them get their oil changes and whatever it may be that they need, and facelifts in that respect. But it definitely feels like art is a big part of what makes downtown Oxford special, which leads perfectly into our guests who are coming up next on Good Things. I don't want to steal any of their thunder because there's some of the local artists that are doing such good works. But Nadia, I mean, what would be your last little plug for Oxford?
Yeah, I think just kind of going off of what Kenny said, it is the 25th anniversary of Double Decker. We're so excited to have a headliner for Friday night. So it's not just all day Saturday, but we've got former Ole Miss baseball player, country superstar Brett Young, who is headlining Friday night. So we're super excited about that. And a great lineup on Saturday. Mavis Staples is in the mix. We've got the Revivalist and Trombone Shorty in Orleans Avenue, as well as some other more regional folks that are going to it's going to be a great day. So we're real excited. But if you can't make it on a weekend, everything's still open during the week. So come see us then. We'd love to see you. And we're just excited for spring in Oxford.
I think that's kind of a pro tip, right, Kenny? It's like if you can get out during the week, Sunday night, Monday or Tuesday night or whatever, you're going to have less lines, less wait, but you're still getting the same core festival or activities, just a little less crowded.
That is so true. I know when we have new visitors, I always say, come on a kind of off weekend so you can really get the good feel and then come back for a really big event.
There's not an off weekend.
Yeah, there's not. We'll see you in July.
We'll see you in July. Thank you, ladies, so much for your time here on Good Things. But you stick with us. We got more for you coming from Oxford coming up next.